And good afternoon. This is Coach Big Pete of DeepDishFootball.com. It's time now to do a little bit of a scheme focus, coach focus for a Deep Dish Football game of the week between Phillips and Richards. First, I would like to say the second week you see some new formations. Um, so I'm not going to really go that much, especially with the second week. Um, might not be, might be. It's always week two is always the weirdest week. But just go into a couple few things and add about, and especially about the coaches. Talk about what the coaches have done for these teams and some of the stuff that is Richards football and Phillips football itself. And I want to first focus on Phillips football. Coach McAllister, head coach McAllister, defensive coordinator Larson. Um, Talk about a little bit. Coach McAllister he's won the state title with Phillips. It was 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. It was 2 years ago. Um, what he has done for Phillips and the program is unbelievable. What that coaching staff has done for Phillips is unbelievable. I've said before they have volunteers, coaches. If I'm not, if hopefully the staff didn't change, but they have a few firefighter guys that help out, and it's good to see and a community input, especially into that Phillips team. Um, but McAllister does a great job. Larson is a future head coach in the making, no doubt about it. Good guy too. So is McAllister. So is that whole Phillips coaching staff. Um, do do more of a spread look, basically read option pass. It's a little. You can say a little bit of a run and shoot too, but Richards more does more of a red gun type of stuff with itself. But how do you say Phillips has a great array of athletes, a great array of talent in that. But I think what's key to talk about is McAllister and that what that coaching staff does with that team. Uh, keeps them under a humble mindset. Uh, gives them a winning form. Gives that team a winning formula, and a strong coach leadership with those kids. And uh, just it's very important to what McAllister does. And I think a lot of critics downplay him, and I think they shouldn't downplay him. And let's bring to light, and I said this before, what they did last year. And you talk about winning a state championship. That's great. That's great. But I don't like to talk about that. 2 years ago when they won the state title. Let's talk about what they did last year. He had the most honor roll kids on his team. That is a complete accomplishment that should be talked about more than the accomplishment on the field. And that's just my personal belief. But what their ability to do with those Phillips kids is unbelievable. Those players, every Phillips player that I've met is a good kid, great kid, um, and has gone on is going to be going on to the future college football level in that. But that coaching staff, what it does, and Larson, again, like I said, is a young defensive coordinator to keep a close eye on. He'll go become another head coach. He's great with the kids. He does a great job. But let's talk a little bit about the scheme in it. Their ability to stretch the field is unbelievable for Phillips. Their ability to attack the A and B gap is unbelievable. Great array of running backs, very underrated running backs that people don't like to talk about, um, especially with Elmore and I'm forgetting the other. I think Rayshon Thompson, if I'm not mistaken. But a great group of running backs, great quarterback in Gibbs, uh, Terrence Taylor, the rush end looks unbelievable for Phillips. It's a good task, especially with Will Larson, what his ability he does with that defense. He's patient with the defense, and he waits for the breaks to happen. So, it's a good group of coaches, like I've said, and they are going to be unstoppable this season. No doubt about it. And I think they're going to 5A, which is even scarier. But that's my thing for Phillips. Now let's go to Richards. Coach Sheehan preaches tradition and history with his team. Very good to see, especially for that. Especially for that reason, they won a state title a couple, 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. Um, but a good team. They have great athletes. They have two great safeties, and that's scary because how are those safeties? Those safeties are going to cause huge problems Friday night for Phillips. And how's Phillips going to neutralize those two DBs, especially Sebastian Castro? How are they going to neutralize those players? And especially with Sebastian Castro on the quarterback level, how are you going to neutralize him? Especially with that red gun slash a little bit of a neo a neo pistol type of look that Richards does. Now they're going to go change formations again. Like I said, week 2, we don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But again, they have a great offense. Very stable running back with Flowers. Kevin Garner, one of the most underrated linebackers that they have, does a great job of reading the offense. But I still think those two safeties play such a key to Richard's success later on to the season and to Friday night against those Phillips wide receivers and the ability to read Jabbar Gibbs. Now, do you take the short route? The thing with Phillips is do you neutralize the short passes and let the big passes go to the safeties, or do you then I'm forgetting his name. Do you basically bring up him and try to basically put more pressure onto Jabbar Gibbs? That's one of the questions that to be asked. And if you look at Richard's offense with Sebastian Castro, the key player for that offense that you want to neutralize is Sebastian Castro. And how do you go at that? How much pressure do you add onto him? Because if you add pressure, you have to get him, no matter what. You have to get him because he makes plays, and when he escapes the pressure, that's even scarier when you go against Sebastian Castro. What do you do? That's one of the main questions that'll be asked Friday night, and we'll see what happens. And just one of the quick things too, for Richards to be successful in defense, it's going to be about technique. It's going to be about the simple basics, simple technique tackling. You got it. The first tackle is I'll say the first hit is more intimate. Bring down the ball carrier, get him down. Simple as that. Because if you let Phillips, especially Phillips, miss that first tackle, they could be out for a touchdown. Simple as that. And that's the scary part of Phillips. So Phillips basically, their offense preys on your mistakes. It's unbelievable, and it's a little bit like with Richards and Sebastian Castro in that offense. A simple defensive mistake that Phillips makes, Castro will go after it, and he'll make a great gain of yards or even a touchdown. Willing it is. Another thing too is Phillips, if they run the ball up at that A gap, I really do like that nose tackle / defensive tackle that Richards has, and he's sort of my blue chip player to look at, especially coming to Friday nights. But it should be interesting. It should be a good game. Phillips pumped up, ready to go after that win against Loyola. Hell of a win, great stand. That brings a lot. That boosts the team's confidence, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And when you have a defense like that with that type of boost, nothing can stop them. Basically, you have Richards. I know some of the coaches were a little bit scared of Carmel, but they beat Carmel. They're happy, and now they got a much bigger challenge in Phillips. So it should be an interesting game. I will be there Friday night. I'll also be there for the sophomore game. Come say hi to me. Please follow Coach McP and Deep Dish Football on Twitter and Facebook. Please visit deepdishfootball.com. If you have any questions, my email is coachmcp@fp@gmail.com. Thank you so much. It should be fun. Friday, I will have my final thoughts of the game. Tonight, 8 p.m., Thursday, 8 p.m., Deep Dish Football Live on Deep Dish Football Facebook, Facebook page for the live session. Deep Dish Football Live. Go over a few topics. You can ask questions and I'll answer them. Simple as that. But it should be fun. And remember, 9 a.m. is Breakfast with Coach McPete every Saturday on Facebook Live. Thank you so much and have a lovely day.